Hello and welcome to Election Brief. My name is Araba Kumson, and coming up today, supporters of the governing MPP in the three regions of the north accuse NDC General Secretary Johnson Asiedu-Nketia of plotting to destabilize the peace in these regions.
Of the Chichawa Abattoir, which is a well-known NDC youth group, and made several promises, including equipping these young boys for the job at hand. Similar groups as Aluta Boys, we all know the Aluta Boys, the Azoka Boys, were met behind closed doors for same agenda.
We'll speak to the NDC and the police as well. Also, Electoral Commission faced with another legal suit. We'll bring you details. Meanwhile, spokesperson for former President John Mahama, Joyce Bawa Mogari, says the compilation of the new register is a complete waste of the taxpayers' money.
The NDC's position has been that we only recently went biometric, that we only recently went through the processes to acquire this equipment, that enormous resources had been expended even to acquire this particular procedure, that the database as it stood was currently credible, that it was transparent, that if there was anything that required to be done, we could undertake a limited.
Also, we will focus on the Convention People's Party, which is launching its 71st anniversary celebration on the theme Fostering Peace and Unity, the way forward for the CPP. This is your election headquarters. I'm Araba Kumson. Thank you for your company. Now let's start off from the north, because supporters of the governing MPP in the 5 regions of the north are accusing the General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress, Johnson Asiedu-Nketia, of plotting to destabilize the peace these regions are currently enjoying. The party said the NDC's chief scribe was in the area and had met with chiefs and some youth groups, adding that in one instance the NDC had promised to offer a youth group arms to execute the plan. Now, this is a claim we cannot independently verify. While addressing a press conference in Tamale, the Savannah Regional Communications Officer of the MPP, Mohammed Issa, said the MPP had reported these incidences of violence the NDC has planned to unleash to the police. He said the attempt to create artificial tension in the region will not succeed. Watch.
Of the Chichawa Abattoir, which is a well-known NDC youth group, and made several promises, including equipping these young boys for the job at hand. Similar groups as Aluta Boys, we all know the Aluta Boys, the Azoka Boys, were met behind closed doors for same agenda. Joshua Akamba, who is the national organizer of the NDC, was later engaged to release sets of ammunition to these youth groups to carry out the said agenda. Today, we have a national organizer who has an unblemished record. If you compare our national organizer to the rival team, Joshua Akamba, you can tell the difference between the MPP and the NDC. One of the rival chiefs to the Nanton chief was also visited, and specific promises were made to get him into Nanton either by hook or crook. This is bizarre and strenuously wicked attempt by candidate Mahama and his NDC to get the northern region back to its days. We all know that today all the rival groups or rival factions in the Dakwang chieftaincy conflicts are together and respecting the overlord. The NDC is gradually carrying us back to the dark days. The NDC's comfort is when the north is in flames, and so they shall ensure the same for their benefits. The same admonishment had been replicated in almost all regions in the north by the NDC, and in preparation towards engaging the NDC task to disrupt the registration process with violence.
Mohammed Issa also questioned why the NDC always attempts to perpetrate violence in the region.
They rather chose to come to the northern region and to incite us as northerners and use us to perpetrate this particular violence. Please follow me. On the contrary, The people of the North have been engaged rather by candidate Mahama and his NDC in rather the most bizarre violent activities in our immediate and past history. Even when it has to be done in another region of the country, our northern NDC brothers are used for such nefarious activities, whilst candidate Mahama and his family and friends, and few friends, enjoy from the booties that may arise or that may be associated with such activities. A few examples will suffice. We all know and saw the commission sitting of the famous Ayawaso West Wagon incident. The violence was started and engineered by the NDC through the well-known Azoka group. Azoka is supposed to be the lead of this particular group, and he is currently the first vice chairman of the NDC, the national vice chairman of the NDC. These boys are managed by the vice chairman of the NDC. Again, the last demonstration that visited thuggery and violence on the residents of Tamale and its environs was meant for only Northerners, and so was done in the North. Unlike the peaceful demonstrations, I'm trusting your mind towards the demonstrations that happened in Kumasi, another in Accra, yet the one that was organized in Tamale was deliberately done in order to use our northern brothers for violence. The media was there. We saw the thuggery, we saw the violence on our streets, the rioting that occurred. None of these incidences was replicated in the southern sector. Why? In a similar fashion, the NDC and its national executives, led by the chief scribe, visited Upper East, the northern region, the Savannah, the Upper West regions, and to prepare them to unleash violence in the upcoming voter registration exercise.
Let's stay a while longer on this, because national organizer of the MPP, Samuel Ku, who joined the press conference, reiterated what he says is the NDC's evil intent to incite violence among people of the three regions in the north in the forthcoming
voter registration exercise is done. The two means of identity, the passport and the national ID. One, the national ID rolled out by the National Identification Authority, that's the Ghana card. The NDC, as a major political party, held a press conference and stated that their supporters should not participate. Behind the scenes, the NDC leadership went for their Ghana cards and abandoned their supporters. Not behind the scenes, in the open, their members of parliament went for their Ghana card. The leader of the party, the former president, John Dramani Mahama, went for his Ghana card. And the founder of the party also went for his Ghana card. But for the supporters and the foot soldiers, they were told that it is not good. I believe that now they find themselves in a hole. And when you find yourself in a hole, you stop digging. And that is when you have to come out and say, I made an error. I'm encouraging all of you, let's get back and register. The good news is that the National Identification Authority will roll out a massive and enhanced mock-up exercise, which starts, I think, from the 18th of June. What that means is that all Ghanaians who haven't registered, now the good news is that there are no backlogs. They have cleared all the backlogs when it comes to the unprinted cards. Government has supported them with new machines to enable them register and issue out the cards instantly. For something that there is no cost to it, I don't understand why the largest opposition party will say their supporters should not participate.
So Joshua Akamba is a member of the opposition NDC, and he joins us for some reaction to these allegations. Thanks for your time. I assume you have heard these claims being made against you. What do you have to say in your defense?
Reaction to these allegations.
Mr. Akamba, if you can hear me. Right. Go ahead, please.
Useless accusations, and I'm sure that the MPP is hot because... Yes, I can hear you. I'm saying that they are useless accusations, and the MPP is hot because they are losing all the seats in the northern region. And so they have to look for last breath. And obviously, looking for this last breath, useless commentary that you're going to sit down to do. And that's what the MPP is noted for. They will not use a productive time to do something. And remind them that I'm a son of the northern region, and that's where I come from. And that when the EC and then the MPP and then the National Identification Authority decide that they would not allow our people to vote, obviously, what I did, together with the leadership of the party led by the General Secretary, myself, and the election director, we went in there, we spoke to the people and told them what they should know and what is happening, and where I am carrying weapons and distributing it. Baseless and useless. Tell them that I say useless.
Well, like I said, these are really serious allegations, but it tarnishes your party's image, especially because your party has is a signatory to a document which says that they are committed to peace in the forthcoming election. So what do you intend to do going forward?
I will speak to my lawyers. Obviously, you must have a proof that somebody was up there in the north distributing weapons. So I'm going to speak to my lawyers, and then I will take the next necessary action. But I can tell you that they are baseless and useless. They have no standing that I, who believe in democracy, who believe in, I have stood elections myself several times because I believe in democracy, and that I believe I've led demonstrations in this country from the days of President Kufuor until today. I believe in that. I believe in peaceful elections, and believe me, and I believe also that I must resist that oppressor who is a new breed of Idi Amin governing this country, and then the Antichrist governing this country. Believe me, madam, I have no business carrying weapons to distribute to anybody, and I don't believe in that. But I'll get back to them. I've gotten the videos, and I will deal with it as I have to deal with it. But I can tell you that they are only looking for, they are lazy people, lazy bunch of executives in that region who are doing nothing, and they see power slipping off their hands. So they are looking for this to hang on.
Very well.
And that
Very well. I'm so grateful for your time. That's Joshua Akamba. He is a member of the opposition NDC. So let's go to the police. The Northern Regional Crime Officer, Superintendent Kwabna Otua Champong. He also joins us via Zoom. Thank you very much for your time, sir. The NPP Director of Communications claims the party has reported these alleged plans by the NDC to destabilize the 3 regions of the North to the police. Has this been reported to you?
Thank you and good afternoon. From our records, we have checked, ever since the statement came out, we have checked from all the districts and police stations in the region. But our records did indicate that we have not received formally any such report. However, I must add that it is a piece of intelligence that we have intercepted. We have also gotten the full video. We are analyzing, and that we are not discarding the information that was said in that video. So it is a piece of intelligence for us that we are working on. We have even shared among our Regional Security Council members.
And going forward, is this something you intend to take up and investigate, especially seeing as we may be hearing more of these accusations as we approach the December 7 polls?
Yes, certainly it is something of a great concern to the Regional Police Command and, for that matter, the Regional Security Council. So we are going to take it up, even though we have not had any official communication from the person who is making that allegation. We will still make efforts because it concerns security. We'll make effort and then reach out to them, and then they will give us, if there is any evidence or any information, then we work it out from there. So we are not going to discard it. it's very good that we have intercepted it. We are going to work on it.
Very well. Thank you so much for your time. That's Northern Regional Crime Officer Superintendent Kwabena Otuo Achampong. Now, spokesperson for former President John Mahama, Joyce Bar Motgari, says the compilation of the new register is a complete waste of the taxpayers' money. She argues that the resources allocated for the exercise could have been channeled into avenues that would positively impact the lives of the ordinary Ghanaian. She spoke on the Super Morning Show earlier today.
The conversation in and around the compilation of a new register has been going on for quite some time. We do know that since 2012, there's been this conversation that led actually to a biometric database that led to the compilation of a new register. We actually went biometric because we wanted to have a more robust system in place that would allow for us to continue from time to time to reform, to amend, and periodically conduct a limited registration exercise, considering that all conversations which usually would happen at IPAC, which is the inter-party committee that actually serves on the board of the EC. The reason why IPAC was actually established in the first place was to engender a certain platform for negotiations, for meeting of minds, for agreeing on all matters. Indeed, in the past, similar conversations had taken place. The difference with past conversations was that IPAC had been able to meet all the political parties one way or the other. Indeed, you recall also there was a very famous case led by an offshoot body of the New Patriotic Party, then in opposition, which was the Abu Ramadan case, which led to some reforms that were called upon by the EC to be made. Indeed, at the time, the Supreme Court made specific pronouncements, even led to the passage of CI 91, which actually clearly stipulated what documents of identity one could use for registration or for voting for that matter. So certainly this is a matter that is not in doubt. But what the NDC's position has been, that we only recently went biometric, that we only recently went through the processes to acquire this equipment, that enormous resources had been expended even to acquire this particular procedure, that the database as it stood was currently credible, that it was transparent, that if there was anything that required to be done, we could undertake a limited exercise. Note also that in the same matter before the Supreme Court had actually agreed also that the EC could periodically, from time to time, reform and make amendments.
This is Election Brief. Now, let's turn our attention to the Convention People's Party, which is launching its 71st anniversary celebration on the theme, Fostering Peace and Unity, the Way Forward for the CPP. Moses Yiri Mambo Ambeng is aspiring national organizer of the party, but currently the Greater Accra Regional Youth Organizer of the party, and he joins me in studio. Thank you so much for your time. So what factors influence the selection of the theme, Fostering Peace and Unity, the way forward for the CPP?
Well, very good afternoon to your cherished viewers. In fact, the CPP has come a long way. 71 years is no joke. For a party to survive for 71 years, I believe that the CPP needs a thumbs up. Despite the opportunities, the threats, and whatever the party has gone through, we've been resilient enough to see today. Today, we are all saying that, look, we need unity to forge ahead. How do we forge ahead? If there is no unity, whatever we are doing might be in vain. We need Nkrumah's parties to be resolute and fight for power come 2020. So this team is being, championed by the purpose of unity and peace, so that we can, have a combined force towards election 2020.
But you say that the party is resilient, but others will argue that, the dominance of the two parties has weakened your party. The two parties, that's the NDC and the MPP, has weakened your party.
Well, I will not agree to that. In fact, if people should go back to history, then they will realize that after 1966 coup, the CPP was banned. It was in 1979 where we reorganized it to the PNP and won power. After we won power, there were still divisions within the CPP, and the name CPP was not allowed to be used until 1999. So you could see the gap that has been created. So when this happened, you could see that most of our members also went to other parties. But today, we are inviting them all back home. That's home sweet home. There's nowhere like home. So we are calling all Nkrumah's forces, no matter where you find yourself in the political divide, come back home and let's build a party. And I can assure you, immediately the sleeping giant of Ghanaian politics awake. the NDC and the NPP, it is game over for them.
You call your party a sleeping giant, but really, I mean, we do know that there are court cases, legal actions taken against party members. The party appears divided. I mean, is the party ready for this year's election? Extremely,
we are so ready. You see, when you talk about court actions, it happens in every political party. Of course, there are issues where people have legitimate right to test the court system, and we've done that. And in fact, today, the Council of Elders of the party, I should salute them because they have taken the matter out of court and they are trying to solve the issue amicably at home. So today, marking our anniversary, we are hoping today we'll all be victorious by solving the matter amicably within the House.
But you're yet to conduct your primaries.
Precisely.
You're yet to conduct elections for your national offices. And we're just 6 months shy of the elections.
That is true. But you see, when we talk about elections, we have studied the terrain and we know that when you talk about active campaigning, it's up to 3 or 4 months. But that doesn't mean that we are sleeping. Mind you, we already have regional offices in place. We also have constituency officers. So they are not sleeping. We are working day and night. But you see, we don't need to make noise. Because when you make noise, you can't challenge our opponent when it comes to noise making. So we are using the submarine type of system where we are working on the base and ensure that before they realize, we are going to surprise them. So
you are telling me that you'll be ready, prepared, organized before December 7th.
My sister, I can assure you 100%. The CPP is so resolute. This is where Ghanaians are yearning for the alternative. And I tell you, if we don't end the duopoly of the NDC and the NPP, we are moving nowhere as a
Very quickly, tell us, what should we expect at today's ceremony?
Of course, today we are expecting all Nkrumah's forces to join us. We are expecting the Council of Elders to join the youth. And in fact, it is the youth league of the party that is organizing this program. And the youth, as they did in 71 years ago, where Nkrumah was, touted by the youth as the Messiah, where one of the youth, that is Kofi Bako, has to bend down for Nkrumah to write a resignation letter to the UGCC. It is the same thing happening today. The gallant youth of this country are far, right? They have risen. And we want to tell the Ghanaian people that come with me, 2020 is not going to be a cakewalk for the NDC and the NPP.
Thank you so much. That's Moses Yirimambo Ambing. He's an aspiring national organizer of the CPP, but he's currently the Greater Accra Regional Youth Organizer of the party. And as he indicated,
I think I'll take opportunity to invite you, for you to see the teeming number of youth that is packed at Asalam as I speak to you today. This should send a signal to the NDC and the NPP.
Thank you. We shall certainly be there. Thank you very much. Moving on, Hassan Ayarga is the founder and flag bearer of the All People's Congress, and he also joins us via Zoom. Many thanks for your time, Mr. Ayarga. How is your party strategizing for the December polls in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic?
Thank you very much for the opportunity. As you are aware, because of COVID-19, many of the political parties are trying to campaign in accordance with the regulations set by the president. So for us, we have done constituency elections. This weekend, we are having to conduct a vetting for all the regional teams that have picked nomination to file for regional executive election on the 27th. We have scheduled 17th of next month for our National Delegate Congress to elect the flag bearer and the national executive officers. So far, we're doing so well at the grassroots. We are monitoring the events of COVID-19 as well as abiding by the rules and campaigning. Most importantly, social distance. That is what we are doing.
Right. And will you be leading the party into the December 7 elections? Will you allow other people to contest you as well, if nominations are open?
Myself and another person from South Africa, a Ghanaian based in South Africa, one Paul, pick nominations. So this day, Congress will decide. What we intend to do is, instead of bringing all the national delegates, all the delegates to the ground where we have a huge gathering, we decided that we are going to reduce the number of the people who are going to come, representatives from the various regions, to a number of 15 each from a region, so that we can have about 4 different halls where we can have 100 to contest, to elect the leaders. So for me, it's open. APC is for everyone, including yourself, anybody who wants to join the party. The party is meant for members of this country to join and take various positions and help build Mother Ghana.
Mr. Ayarga, you've seen the two main parties, the MPP and the NDC, they've been campaigning vigorously somewhat. What is your campaign message?
We have, you know, the NDC and the MPP so far have been rather making noise rather than campaigning, battling each other on the airwaves and social media platform. For us, we believe in empowering the people. We believe this time around, Ghanaians need to be given opportunities, especially the youth. So our campaign message is that power to the people. We give back power to the people and they will be able to manage it. So for instance, one of our messages is free port. Free port in the sense that whatever you bring to the port, we are going to make sure you do not pay duty for it. Because duty is a penalty given out and not a source of income to government.
Right.
So we have free port, we have other, yes. We have other opportunities like social, interventions, including giving Ghanaians soft loans and soft business loans to be able to run their.
What about a campaign song? Are you coming up with a campaign song anytime soon? Unfortunately, we lost Hassan Ayarga, who was the flag bearer of the APC in the last election. As you heard him, the party is gearing up for this year's election. But that will be all for today's edition of Election Brief. I'm Marble Kumson. Join us same time next week from 1:30 to 2 p.m. and let us fully brief you on the happenings on the political front.